What's up, Geeksters? It's me, Omar from geeksterlabs.com, and today's video is brought to you by Bluehost. If you guys are looking to get quality, affordable hosting, check out geeksterlabs.com/Bluehost. So guys, the movie that we're going to be talking about today is The Martian. Now, this movie was great. This movie is directed by Ridley Scott, and it stars Matt Damon. And so the synopsis of the movie goes like this. So during a manned mission to Mars, Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, is presumed dead after a bad storm forces his crew to abandon Mars. So Matt Damon's left there with meager supplies, and he has to find a way to survive and last long enough to be rescued off of Mars. So guys, this movie was so much fun to watch. I was really anticipating this movie, and I'll begin by saying this, that Ridley Scott has been a director that many of you guys are aware of. He did Blade Runner, he did Alien, and so, many of his most recent movies I have not really enjoyed very much. Some of the last movies that he did were like Exodus, Gods and Kings, which didn't get really good reviews. The Counselor, which got really slammed. Prometheus, which is people are on the fence on. I thought the movie was okay. I know some people really enjoyed it. I know some people really thought it was stupid and didn't like it at all. And then other movies like Robin Hood and those types of movies. So for me, Ridley Scott, it was kind of been hit or miss with his movies lately. So I was really hoping that this movie was going to be good because it had Matt Damon in it. He was attached to it. And so this movie was awesome. It definitely was worth the wait. The things that was really surprised me a lot about with this movie was it had really good humor. It was really funny, and that's obviously thanks to Matt Damon. Matt Damon's character is such an awesome, his character's name is Mark Watney. He's such an awesome character. He had really good humor, even in the face of this terrible situation he's stuck in. He had a really good attitude about it. He never gave up. You just really grew to like this character because he's just such a funny guy. And so there's so many funny parts. That also has helped with Michael Pena. Michael Pena is in this movie. For those of you that saw him in Ant-Man, he killed it in Ant-Man and basically stole the show and most of the humor in Ant-Man. He did the same thing in this movie as well. The banter between the two of them was really funny. Even though this movie's meant to be a drama, it had some really good humor as well. And when it comes to drama, they did a really good job with that as well. The tension is so thick in certain scenes when you're like, oh boy, like how is he gonna deal with the situation? Like it's not, the whole time of course he's not gonna be like, oh, I'm doing great and lasting long. No, every single piece of this movie, there's things that are going wrong that they have to fix or they have to figure out how they're gonna make this happen. Even towards the very end of the movie, you're like, what's really gonna happen? And so that's how it really is. It's nail biting even towards the end of the movie. You're like, are they really gonna be able to do this? Like, it was just, they did a really good job with it. I was really surprised how well the pacing was really done very well. It's over 2 hours long. And you think, okay, towards the tail end of the movie, especially a movie with a man that's stuck on Mars by himself, you think you're gonna start to feel it. And you didn't at all. The pacing was done really well. This movie kind of reminds me, if I had to compare it to two movies, I'd probably say like Gravity meets Castaway. Okay, Tom Hanks, Castaway, stuck on an island. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Although this movie doesn't just stay on Mars the whole time. It definitely bounces between Mars and NASA. You're basically seeing what different things that Matt Damon's character is trying to do to survive and the challenges he's facing. And then you go over here on Earth and then you see NASA trying to figure out how the heck are we going to bring this guy back? Is there anything we can do? So it does really good. And some of the characters that are on here on Earth are like Jeff Daniels plays the head of NASA. We have Chiwetel Ejiofor who plays, I'm not sure what exactly who his character plays, but he's another higher up at NASA. Kristen Wiig is there. The whole crew did a really good job. And so obviously Matt Damon is the one that stands out the most. But Michael Pena did a really good job. Jessica Chastain is in this movie as well. Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, he's in this movie. Kate Mara, we're not going to talk about Fantastic Four, but she was in this movie. She did a great job. So the overall cast did a really good job. The relationships between all of them, you kind of felt like they were like a family, like a real crew, like a military crew that had been stuck together, that had been through missions, that had to make certain decisions, and you could kind of get that vibe while watching. So the chemistry and the dialogue was really good between all the characters. Oh man, and let's talk about the cinematography. The cinematography of this movie was beautiful. If you are a fan of cinematography and good, awesome, clean, crisp shots, you are gonna love this movie. The scenery on Mars is beautiful. I was blown away. And you can, while watching the movie, you definitely know this is a Ridley Scott movie. Like the angles and the direction, it definitely feels like a Ridley Scott movie. And I will make a mention, I did see this movie in 3D. I definitely don't think it's worth watching in 3D. The way I rate 3D is if by the middle of the movie I forget I'm actually watching a 3D movie, it's not good 3D because nothing feels like that immersive. There's parts and things where the depth of field is kind of cool when you have the 3D, but I think I would rather see this movie in IMAX than spend the money to see it in 3D because this movie on an IMAX screen would be glorious and beautiful. So definitely recommend checking that part out of this. So 3D, forget about it. IMAX, definitely go check it out. But as far as the overall story and everything goes, the plot points hit really well. There was no parts where it got like stuck or really slow, even though you think that there's be times when he's stuck on Mars, so it would be kind of boring. But everything about this movie was really good. The dialogue, the story, the script, the direction, the cinematography. I can't really say anything negative. I was really hoping when I was watching this movie that they weren't going to throw in an extra plot line with, like, you know, Matt Damon's character having a wife and a kid and trying to communicate with it. Like they could have easily thrown a bunch of extra things and other elements on top of it to make it a lot more stressful, and I'm really glad they didn't do it, because it helped you just focus on him and the mission and him trying to make it back home. And that's all it was really about. It was nothing more. They didn't need to add anything else on top of it to add more characters and more people, because this movie has tons of big characters, and they all have pretty good parts. And it's not all about Matt Damon in this movie. So I think they really did a really good job when it came to this. I definitely recommend you checking it out. And I probably will see it again. I want to actually see it in IMAX to see how it would look in IMAX, because it was a really, really great movie. I don't know if I would say this is going to get Matt Damon a nomination for an Oscar, but I definitely could see there being a case for that, because he did a really, really good job, and as he does in most of his movies. And so I definitely recommend you guys checking out The Martian in theaters. If you guys have any questions, or if you personally saw this movie, let me know what you think about it. Put in the comments below. Once again, I want to give another shout out to Bluehost. If you guys need to get really affordable, good, solid web hosting, check out geeksterlabs.com/Bluehost. I have personally been using Bluehost for almost 10 years, and that's what geeksterlabs.com is hosted on right now. So definitely recommend you guys go checking them out. So if you want to stay up to date with all of my movie reviews, as well as all of my tech reviews as well, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the next video review.